In Texas, there used to be a law on the books on how many certain items you could actually own, and that was a dildo. And honest, up until 2008, you were only allowed up to 6 dildos because obscenity laws, which, if you want to boil it down to, it's just certain blasphemy laws. But there's something that's going to be a change that's going to be coming out in Texas where they're going to be allowing open carry on people's hips or whatever. But that change is not coming until January 1st, 2016. And one of the places that's going to be affected is school campuses. I mean, like colleges and whatnot. And the students out there are not enjoying this new law that's not going into effect yet, but as I just mentioned. But the thing is that people walking around with guns on their hips in school, it just terrifies the fuck out of me. Being a parent who happens to have a child that is in a college, I don't want to see anybody have a gun on campus. Especially, if you've been watching the news lately, there have been several incidents just within the last couple of months of people getting shot. But hey, you know what? Let's stop them with a good guy with a gun, which never fucking works. Back in 2004, we'll go back a little bit on this. Back in 2004, several sex shops challenged Texas over the statute of how many dildos you can own, and you couldn't even sell them down there. So I guess everybody that had them had to buy them online. You were not allowed to, like I said, not allowed to own more than 6. I don't know how they were enforcing that. I mean, were they coming to random dildo inspection, knocking on your door? Do you have any dildos here? How many do you own? It turned.
They're registered.
I did. Yeah. Do you have to register these dildos? And now, what's interesting down there is the Texas gun laws. They have very simple gun laws down there. For example, assault weapons. If you ask somebody down there if they're banned down there, and they're not. Texas abides by federal law, which at this time has no restrictions on so-called assault weapons, such as semi-automatic AR-15s, FAL, G3s, and HK-91 rifles. So you can have an assault weapon, but you can't have more than 6 dildos. Well, at least not till 2008. It was about 6 years ago now. At the time of this broadcast. But and there's no limit to how many magazines and how many bullets you can own, and you can do all that stuff. They have very simple gun laws because they think just because it's Texas, everybody should have a fucking gun. Which is really crazy. I mean,
I think Texans might be a really good argument for being armed.
I think Texas is a good argument for birth control. I'm just saying. Connie, your thoughts?
I just have to correct you on one thing.
Okay.
The Senate Bill 11 is about concealed handgun license owners to carry a gun on campus. Mm-hmm. And actually there's penalties if you were to open carry. But they can, and the individual institutions of higher learning, mm-hmm. which, believe it or not, Texas has them, they have to decide how they'll be stored and whether or not, if the particular college wants to have any further restriction on it. Mm. But it's still a matter of there's going to be guns on campus. Students and I'm assuming faculty can have a concealed weapon, and I don't know. I wouldn't feel safer. And it doesn't even have to be that you get some kid with a grudge, which obviously, some person with a grudge and there's a gun and, you have that 10-cent solution right there in your hand. Even the idea that somebody might try to use their gun to thwart somebody else is rather nerve-wracking, because in the confusion of an actual situation like what happened in Oregon a couple weeks ago, you have a shooter. once the bullet leaves the gun, you really don't have any control over where it goes. You don't have a control over the situation. Somebody else might be inadvertently hurt
Yeah.
and or get a hold of it. So
Well, actually,
yeah, so
I
but dildos are bad.
yeah, but dildos are bad. They have the obscenity laws. Actually,
So,
I that's where I got this thing about the open carry thing here is from TexasGunLaws.org. And it says here, it asks, the question is, can you strap a gun to your hip? And it says, no, with some exceptions. Open carry is not legal in Texas until January 1st, 2016, but you may open carry on your own property in the commission of sporting activity, competition, shooting, ranges, and etc. while engaged in hunting, and while engaged in hunting.
Yeah.
But so coming to January 1st, open carry is going to be allowed in Texas.
right.
So this is so bizarre. I mean, they even have one about, can I carry a firearm on my vehicle? It's like, well, yeah, that's one of the things you can carry it. I was like, I knew this guy years ago. He was kind of a crazy guy. I work with a lot of crazy people. He said that when he goes out driving around or whatever, he usually has a handgun, sitting on the seat next to him. So I said, well, what happens if you get pulled over by a cop? He goes, well, I have it sitting right there. They don't know that if it's sitting right there, it's safe. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? If a cop sees a gun sitting on a seat, do you think he's going to go, oh, I see you have a gun sitting on a seat. Everything's cool. Are you kidding me? First thing he's going to do is draw his weapon on you and say, here, you get out of the fucking car, you make a move, either the one way or the other, I will fucking blow your ass away.
Yeah. Well, I did. Some of the conversations I've been having with people from Facebook, their argument for why we should all be able to have any kind of weapon that we want is the government owns all those weapons. And I was sort of just gobstopped. I couldn't believe I was hearing it.
Yeah.
And that's the argument. And they said, well, we don't want a tyrannical government. And the minute that they take away our guns, the minute that we have to register absolutely everything,
yeah, that's what they claim.
Then the government's going to it's going to be, Hitler all over again.
Oh,
yeah, it was a very discouraging week for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I encountered that level of
ignorance.
Yeah, and fear.
Yeah. From the chat room, Dawkins Dog said, what about semi-automatic dildos?
Doesn't that tell you something that the Texans are intimidated by dildos, but not guns?
You have a dildo! Ah! Run in horror!
There's such a thing as called consent that should.
Yeah, Torvin from the chat room said, what about pocket rocket sex toys? She's armed and aroused. Chris,
maybe that's why they're so angry.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's just like over. If you look at the Middle East, for example, those people over there are always angry. Why? They're not allowed to have sex toys or anything like that. If those people had access to sex toys, I think they'd be a little bit calmer. Maybe get a couple more orgasms in there. I'm just saying. Just get a couple more in there. Chris, your thoughts?
No comment on it.
Okay, you get one. You get one, no comment.
He's pulling that card.
He's pulling the no comment card early today.
It starts. Yep.
The protest from the students, though, on campus of the University of Texas that want to have everybody. Actually, see, now that was the discrepancy because the ruling for the campus gun thing is supposed to be concealed, right?
Yeah.
But they want to open carry dildos and like backpacks and things like that, and they have their own hashtag, Cocks Not Glocks.
Yes.
And to fight against the persistent myth of the good guy with a gun. So I don't know. I really hope that students aren't fined and arrested.
Yeah, because it's a $500 fine if you display a dildo. But it's okay if you want to display a gun. Yeah, it's okay. Display a dildo. Oh no, you might have something fun with that. one of
I
the
think
there was.
their idea of what's obscene is really ironic.
It is. It really is. There was one quote here. Compared to gun laws, Jin writes, I don't know who Jin is, just a person that's on Facebook. They wrote on their Facebook page, quote, just as effective as protecting us from a sociopath shooters, but much safer for recreational play.
Oh, University of Texas alumna Jessica Jin is the one who
Jessica Jin. Okay.
Yeah, that's her last name. She's the one who's promoting this protest,
Okay.
which will happen at the concealed carry will be next fall. August 2016 is when that law comes into effect, and so that's when the protest will actually happen. So
Yeah.
keep our eyes peeled and.
Your dildo's ready.
I gotta say, I don't know. Instead of flicking a bic, people don't do that anymore. Actually, people use cell phones at concerts, so
That's true. Yeah. Well, I actually used to have an app on my phone. I used to have an app on my phone where it would make a little lighter, and you could actually flick it open, and it's yay.
That's actually pretty cool.
I gotta find it, put it back on this phone.
Only in the heart of Texas, there.
Yeah, only in the heart of Texas.